What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Got some more NFL props we're gonna be taking a look at today on PrizePicks. If y'all are new, thanks for showing up, and if you're old, thanks for coming back. So, quick recap of our last video. Man, we hit Tyreek Hill's under on 5.5 receptions. He ended with 5. We hit that, and then Matt Hater Prater sells us on a field goal. We had him over 1.5. He finished with 1, and he missed 1 in the first half. What a heartbreak! Not even from 40 yards out. So, I was a bit of a crash out. I was yesterday after that, because that should have been a cash out. Turned from a cash out to a crash out. Now Matt Prater will start getting faded by me. So we'll call him Matt Fader from now on. Everybody ain't Brandon Aubrey. So before we get into today's picks, real quick, don't forget Football is an F-Word podcast. That link is down in the description below. Y'all be sure to tune into this week's episode. Moving on to our 2 picks today. Pick number 1, Ramondre Stevenson. I really like Ramondre. 40.5 rushing yards is beautiful. I'm going to go over 60.5 rush and receiving yards just due to the targets that he gets through the air. We can look into some stats. Through 2 games, he is averaging 84.5 rush receiving yards. But that does also include a very ugly week 1. He only had 15 yards on the ground, 12 through the air, but he has a really big week 2 against Miami. 54 yards on the ground, 88 through the air off of 5 targets, 5 catches. Love seeing that. Now he probably won't have 5 catches for 88 yards again, right? That can't be the bar. So with that being said, this week he does play Pittsburgh. They are giving up the second most rushing yards to running backs. We can see that right up here. We'll move over to rushing yards. So they're giving up 250 yards a game to running backs on the ground. Through the air, I want to say they're doing a lot better through the air. Still giving up 50 receiving yards a game. An example of that, Breece Hall, week 1, they gave him almost 40 yards in the air week 1. So that damn near covers our line here. But Ramondre is also averaging 4 targets per game, 3.5 catches per game, and 50 receiving yards per game. Like I said, that does come from a pretty ugly week 1. So most of that does come from a week 2. So we have to take that into consideration. But DK has this as low as 56.5. And then PrizePicks gives it to us at 60.5. So, and there's no juice on that either. It's just a flat line. So I think that's kind of bullshit. But with that being said, you might wait till last minute if you like this. This may drop down to 59.5, 58.5. But it's not right now. I still like it at 60.5. So that's going to be pick number 1. Again, if you like rushing yards at 40.5, that was going to be my go-to at first. So that's pick number 1, Ramondre. Give me over 60.5. I like it's really not even a big game from him, but I like a good game from him against Pittsburgh. Pick number 2 is going to be Dakota Rain Prescott. And they have his passing yards set at 261.5. My gut here is telling me that this is too high. So I'm punching in the under. Week 1 and 2 were divisional games against Philly and the Giants. So, I mean, the divisional games are always going to be closer in shootouts for the most part. But last week against the Giants was a real shootout, right? Fireworks show. That, in my opinion, has completely inflated this line. He threw for 361 yards against the Giants last week. We rewind to week 1 against Philly, and he only throws for 188. Again, that was a lot tougher. You could say just slower of a game, I guess, but 188, and that still came from 34 pass attempts, only 21 completions, but 34 pass attempts. So I think he's coming back down to earth this week. Now, the Cowboys offense has looked much more balanced this year, in regards of throwing the ball a lot more, and it's been working out pretty well. So that kind of scares me a little bit, but the Cowboys are expected to win this game. The over-under is pretty high. I think it's at like 49.5 or 50.5. So they are expecting a lot of scoring, but if the Cowboys are in the lead, there's going to be a lot of clock chewing at the end of the game. Shouldn't have to throw the ball 40 times, in my opinion. And 261, though. 261 is just crazy against a team that is giving up the third most rushing yards in the league. These last through weeks 1 and 2, giving up the third most rushing yards, 250 on the ground. And Dallas has a running back room full of new faces that are just ready to eat. So I just feel like 261 is a very tall order, and it's coming from a very inflated line from last week's game against New York. So in my opinion, my gut's just telling me 261 is a bit high. I think we get maybe a good 210, 220 from him. 261 is just, I mean, that's a wild game, in my opinion. So Ramondre Stevenson, over 60.5 all-purpose yards. Dak, under 261.5 yards through the air. That'll be the 2 picks. Let me know what y'all think. Hopefully we don't get screwed over again. Feel good about these 2 picks. Let me know what you think. I'll catch you on the next one, and good luck